October 23rd. Think of this as like a part 2 to the video because something just occurred to me that I didn't speak of in my first video for today. I went to the doctor. I registered for a GP here, so I went to meet them for the first time this week and was anxious about it, of course, because I was going to get some sort of referral to a mental health specialist to help me with my anxiety and getting through it and stuff like that, since I've been here for a month and a half and sometimes I just feel like I can't handle it on my own. I apparently can't even speak on my own. But when I went to the doctor, she, asked me if my anxiety affects the way I am able to live, like if it is a detriment to me operating every day. And I said, absolutely. There are days when I just can't get out of bed. Fully expecting her to be maybe just a little bit understanding. She was as understanding and kind of unbiased as any GP could be, but she also was very unemotional, I guess. Not empathetic at all to the fact that I just told her something deeply personal about my anxiety and how it affects me. And her response was, well, we all have things that we need to get through, and it's important to remember that you just have to try and work through those issues, and, you can't overcome them if you avoid your problems or something. And I just kind of sat there and I allowed her to say these things to me, because when someone is that ignorant, I feel like you could say as much as you want to them and try and give them more knowledge on the topic, even though she shouldn't need any as a doctor. But at the end of the day, it's like they're a brick wall. Like you can't tell them enough about it that will change their mind. They will think that you are just avoiding the issues at hand because you're afraid. And yes, I'm absolutely afraid of my anxiety. And yes, it does affect me, and I try to avoid things that trigger me as much as possible, but I also work around them. Like when it comes to presentations, like I mentioned in my last video, those are a huge trigger. Those were actually the primary triggers for my anxiety, was anything having to do with public speaking or feeling like I was being put at the center of attention or something, where I was being judged. And if I can avoid that, like at school, I will see if there's a way around doing the public speaking. Like I said, I was working in a group project and asked if I could pull my weight otherwise. But, when it comes to social situations, I know that there's really no way around that. Like, I know that it's super, super unhealthy to try and avoid creating these social connections because I'm nervous. You can't be an introvert because your anxiety demands it. I'm definitely not as social as I could be because of my anxiety, but I don't let it defeat me. Whenever I have to, or not have to, but whenever I'm going to meet new people or something, I deal with the panic attack, because I have one. I have a panic attack. I have a panic attack as soon as I find out that I'm going to meet them, as soon as I get on the train to go see them, as I'm shaking their hand, as I'm telling them my name and who I am and what I do and all that stuff. It's not until, honestly, like, I don't know if I ever really don't have a panic attack when I'm making friends. I couldn't tell you the cut and dry time that I meet them, after we've been introduced, that I'm like, okay, I'm not nervous anymore. There are people that I've known for years that I still have panic attacks going to see, regardless of how well we know each other. So I think it's important to remember that sometimes you just can't avoid these things, like, social situations. I think, yeah, it's debilitating, and I am super nervous about going to see these people and meet new friends and open myself up to new connections. But other things I can't find a way around, and I understand that it helps to desensitize me if I keep doing these public presentations or something like that. But at the same time, my body can't handle it, and it's asking a lot of me to try to. And as if I have not tried over the 8 years that I've had panic attacks. So that was just a little additional blurb to add in there. I think it's just super important to, like, know your limits, and I'm not going to let anyone, even a doctor, tell me that I'm not pushing them enough. So, yeah. Okay. That's all. And part 2.